Hey guys, Dan Heilman back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about Ethereum and Ethereum Dominance. It looks extremely interesting. I never really look at Ethereum Dominance. You know, most people look at Bitcoin Dominance, and you can see that we're, in my opinion, getting pretty close to the top of this range here. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about Ethereum Dominance. We're going to talk about some altcoins. Is altcoin season here? There's a couple metrics that says we're getting close, but maybe not there yet. And let's see. So, all right. If you guys are enjoying the content, press the like, press the subscribe, leave a comment below. And I have plenty of links down below if you do want to trade. So check those out. All right. Ethereum Dominance. It's very interesting because it's we have these levels here that have been respected very well. As you can see here, around 7.4% for Ethereum Dominance seems to be roughly the bottom. Another thing is we have this expanding, broadening, increasing, expanding, broadening wedge, however you want to call this. And this is a very common trading pattern that usually breaks down and is bearish. And as you can see, you usually get something like what happened, right? So you get a bounce, 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 and then you kind of don't make it to the top, and that signals you're probably going back down. Okay. So when you stop making it to the top, now we got back down and it played out extremely well. So very interesting. Are we going to see something similar? History usually doesn't repeat exactly, but it usually rhymes. What kind of worries me about a lot of people saying it's altcoin season, it's full-on altcoin season, because alts have been performing very well. If you look at Bitcoin Dominance, it doesn't look like much when you look at it right here. Let's go to the daily. You can see we've had 3 days of extreme altcoin performance. Now, are they going to continue to go up forever? Of course not. Are they going to go up all the way through the end of the year? I don't know. Maybe not. There's another chart that's kind of interesting that we should look at. Mr. Benjamin Cohen uses this one a lot. And he says, basically, your total 3, which is your altcoins, minus your USDT, USDC, divided by Bitcoin. Okay, so this is kind of a little bit of a predictor of altcoin season. Here you go. You can see here's your altcoin season. And when you're up here, that means altcoins are performing very well. Okay. So you have this range from about January of 2021 to about January of 2022. So that was a very strong alt season, 1 full year. It's very interesting here. And if you watch any of Ben Cohen's videos from Into the Cryptoverse, you can see that he has said many times that he thinks this will go back down to 0.25, which would meaning we have basically another 24% drop for altcoins in general. And it's kind of interesting because now if we go back and just look at ETH dominance real quick, you can see that we went up and we actually rejected off this same spot right here. So I'm going to make this a different color. We'll make it a little bit lighter and we'll make it white, for example. And we'll lock this boy so I don't accidentally move it around. You can see we went up here. We rejected exactly where we are right now. You can see there's also a wick that came down and tested it. Same like this. Interesting. Very interesting, huh? We have this wick that came down, popped up, wick that came down, popped up, about 9.2%. And you can see we were rejected off of that and then came back down for... Let's see if we go to the daily chart. Let's see, how many days did we do this for? So we went up, and then right about where we are right now, we went down for about 100 days. So 3 months, okay? So 3 months puts us okay. So 3 months, about the end of the summer, maybe July-ish. Is that about the same time frame? No, it's not about the same time frame. This is a little bit later. So we could potentially see something like that where we just... Basically, let me go back to the weekly because I can see both of them a little bit easier. We could potentially do something where we kind of bleed back down and then we finally really start this rally, right? So when Ethereum is going up, it usually means we have started our alt season, and you'll see not only money go into Ethereum, but it'll go into other alts, especially once we get into this outperformance area, right? So this was a whole year. Now, are we guaranteed to get a full year? No, of course not. We're of course not guaranteed to get a full year of altcoin performance here. Oh God. So we'll see. what do we got going on here? I don't know. We're going to see. Let's look at Ethereum now and talk about what's happening here. We saw a massive move. I was really happy to be continuously buying like an absolute degenerate. Now, here's another interesting thing is my Camel Finance indicator is telling me that we're going to see a bottom about June. That's about a month, so it doesn't quite perfectly time with that other one. Again, things rhyme. They don't have to perfectly match, right? So we could see, honestly, a rejection and a slow move back down, a bottom somewhere, I don't know, June, maybe even July-ish, and then a big pump after that. Okay, so we did very well from this bottom. I bought a lot of Ethereum for about $14.50. I bought a lot of Ethereum for about $16.50 on spot. My leverage trades have been awful lately. I closed literally the worst time I could have ever closed. So I don't have a lot of leverage trades though. I mean, I have a lot open right now, but they're just 1x leverage, and I don't have like huge size because you don't want to, leverage in right now all out, right? If you want to put a little bit of leverage in, that's okay, and add to it as we go down, because there could definitely be a pullback. We're kind of rejecting off this 0.5 for Ethereum, and we also have the other moving average coming right in here. So we could see another pump up, maybe a rejection, back down, bleed for a while. I mean, we could be totally back, and this could all be wrong, and this just be basically paranoia, but it's kind of just interesting because this does rhyme so much with what happened previously. So, oh God, why? It does rhyme so well. If we go to like the monthly, for example, you can see this. We have this big candle exactly like this, and then we basically had 3 months down, a bounce, and then just an absolute blast off where we went all the way up to 20% ETH. And so this is January 2020, okay? So if we go the same thing, we go here, the weekly, and we're going to say January 2020. Where were we? January 2020. Right about here. So you can see we already made our low for the cycle, pretty much. We did actually touch it again. So Ethereum dominance doesn't always mean, Ethereum Bitcoin pairs, Ethereum dominance, and Ethereum USD is different, right? So they usually kind of relate to each other. They kind of correlate, but they're not a perfect match, right? So you can see we did go up. Now this is the COVID crash, which also take that with a grain of salt, right? Because this is a literal pandemic. We had, a couple months of down because of all these scares, but everything was down. I bought a lot of stocks in this time. I was buying Ford stock for $4. I was buying a lot of stocks in this COVID crash that did extremely well over the next couple months. I don't know why I wasn't too much into the crypto market. I had a bunch of holdings, but I had a scare where I had my cold wallet and I couldn't figure out I lost my seed phrase and my cold wallet got corrupted. So that was a really unfortunate time. So I didn't have access to a lot of my crypto, and so I wasn't, trading or doing anything like that at that time. So it was a little bit scary, but for me, I almost lost basically all of my crypto holdings from back in 2017. But yeah, so that's what we got going with Ethereum. Do I think we are going to just full blast mode from here? It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. We could just continue this momentum. It also depends on what happens with all of the wars going on, the recessions, the trade stuff. If we kind of went into a recession, it would make sense that maybe we had a 3-month down, and then maybe the Fed starts printing money, maybe interest rates come down, kind of like what happened in 2020. And then that could just lead us into a massive pump for all of these assets. And that might take 3 months, right? And then another thing is if we go to the CME Fed Watch tool, that also kind of correlates with this, right? So if we go here, something that's also interesting is, right, so June, what's happening here with the graph, guys? There it is. Okay, so June, 82%. So people have said that 85%, if it's above 85%, there is basically, it's going to be correct. But 82% is below that. And then if you go out to July, look at that. So July 30th, the end of July would be about 3 months from now, which is very interesting. It kind of correlates with that. And if we start getting rate cuts, if we start getting printing, we could see some massive pumps off that. So there's kind of a lot of factors that correlate with this. Now, it would be even more interesting if this Camel Finance Tool said that this was going to be, you know, end of July or something, that would be also interesting. If we go to like something Solana, where does it predict these lows are going to be? So a lot of these are like mid-June. And historically, usually, you know, people say sell in May, go away, because June, July, the summer, people don't, you know, people are going outside, they're not spending as much time investing and stuff like that. So sometimes there is a lull. If we go look at something like the S&P 500 or SPY, for example, now if we go back to, here's like, I mean, that definitely didn't work here, right? So I mean, look at this. If you sold in May, you've ruined your whole life, because it was like straight up. It was like basically straight up. So it didn't work well there, right? And then July, it's actually the opposite. At the end of the summer, it went down. So, you know, I don't know. If we go look at some other years, 2000, there's another summer right here. It did kind of work out. Definitely not May. I mean, the sell in May, go away does not seem very accurate, just checking the last 2 years. If we go back another year, what do we got going on here? So May, sell in May, dude, sell in May and go away never works. I mean, here's June, we're way higher, but we did see a lower low. But I mean, this was kind of like a bear market, right? So this is like our 2022 bear market after that 2021 massive pumperoonie. So the sell in May, go away. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that one. Let's check Bitcoin, actually. If we go check Bitcoin, let's go to weekly here. Let's turn off some of these, because these are a little bit obnoxious here. Okay, so what do we got going on here? So if we look at last year, where's May? May. I mean, yeah, you'd be fine to sell in May and go away and then get back in about the end of the year. So I don't know. We'll really see what happens here. I think Ethereum has had a massive run. I have to assume there's going to be some sort of correction after a massive run like it just did. I mean, what was this run? This run was like 85%. And as you can see, if we go to the daily time, we are coming up to one of the major moving averages. We're coming up to the 0.5 fib. And we've had some massive moves. Now, another interesting thing is if you do go look at like the 4 hour, you can see we do have a bit of a bearish divergence. So what that means, again, if you don't know, is we're making higher highs between these 2 points, and we're making lower highs on these points, okay? So unless this can come up and come back through here, which is hard, because I mean, this is I mean, on the 4 hour, we almost hit a 90 on the RSI, which is pretty insane. So I don't know. I'm thinking we got a lot of correlation here between multiple things, right? So I was also expecting Bitcoin dominance to go up and hit at least 66. And the reason that is because it seems to like these fib levels a lot. So if we go from fib to from here to here, you can see 66.25 would be another pump up into here. Now, if that took a couple months, that would also correlate with what I'm talking about. So are we back? We could be, but there's a lot of correlation to say we might just come back down, retest this. As Mr. Ben Cohen always says, we might also need to hit this 0.25 before we can start this acceleration phase again. So I don't know. Do with this information as you will. And if you want to do any leverage trading, I got links below. Leave a like, leave a subscribe, leave your comment below. I'd love to hear what you said, what you think. Say it below. And we've seen some big moves in a lot of coins. They are now starting to pull back, but a lot of these went absolutely insane. I mean, some of the meme coins just went ridiculous, like ridiculous. Muden, oh my God, just went monster mashing. But anyways, it's it. Have a great day. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Happy Mother's Day. If you're a mother or have a mother in your family, hope you did something nice today. Kind of funny story. I let my wife sleep in this morning with our toddler, and I made her some pancakes to bring her in bed. And my toddler was screaming this morning. I went and got him. I brought him downstairs. He was mad that I got him out of bed and it wasn't mommy. He crawled all the way back upstairs. I watched on the baby monitor. He climbed all the way back into his crib, which I didn't even realize he could do. He's never climbed out of his crib, but he was able to climb all the way into it from the floor. And then he screamed for mommy to come get him. And I was like, bro, are you for real? That kid is in a defiance phase for sure. But that's it. Have a great day. See you guys.